Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our inaugural Dallas Stars franchise mode here in NHL 20. So in last episode, we had the off season, which included a very good draft for us as we drafted Anton Lundell with our first round pick. We also picked up Evgeny Nabokov in the fourth round, I think it was, or maybe it was the third round. And we also picked up Thomas Vokoun. So we are getting a pretty good load of prospects into this organization, and hopefully this year's draft helps us out as well, just because we are a bit of an older team. As you can see here, we have also these guys currently unsigned. This low elite guy, I'm really hoping pans out. We drafted him in the 6th round of the draft, so hopefully he becomes something. As for goalies, Vokoun is unsigned currently, but he will be signed probably by next season, so he could be in the AHL. But as you can see in the moment, we have Nabokov as our starter down there. He's more than likely going to be an NHL backup by next season already because being a 72 overall, I think he should get a jump. We'll see how he assimilates down there in Texas this season. And then also Anton Lundell has already been signed as well, so he's going to get a chance to play down there. And he should also be NHL ready within 1 to 2 seasons, I'd assume. Also in free agency, we did actually make one acquisition for our team, and that was picking up defenseman Zarli Zalapski. He was with Calgary last season, I think. I'll show you guys his stats so you guys can take a look at his individual attributes and whatnot. So as you can see, Zarli Zalapski, we signed him for 2 years at $6 million. He's only 27, so I think he could be a solid replacement for somebody like Paul Cavallini, or if we want to go of Ledyard, make a trade with Ledyard this season, I think that is the way to go. And Zalapski last season, here is his numbers from when he was with Calgary: 28 points, and he was a +9. He also took a lot of penalty minutes, but he is a pretty solid defenseman. Also, he actually passed away, how many years ago was it? I don't even remember, but he passed away of a heart attack or something like that, so rest in peace to Zarli. Hopefully we can get him a Stanley Cup. So yeah, anyways, let's get into this episode. So we're going to sim half the season probably in this video, depending if how long it is and whatnot. But before we get started, I am going to take a look at the proposed trade screen again to see what teams are champions around the league. That way we could kind of get a feel for who could potentially win this year. So Buffalo is listed a champion, which is not really a surprise because they did sign Sergei Fedorov in free agency. So Detroit lost a big guy there, which should help us out in a sense because we're in the same division. Chicago is also listed as a champion this year. Who else do we got here as a champion? The New Jersey Devils. Okay, that makes sense because New Jersey won in 1995, so that makes sense. Anybody else? The Pittsburgh Penguins, not a surprise. And the St. Louis Blues, that's kind of interesting. And that is all the champions for year number 2. Let's take also a quick look at the lineups for the teams in our division, just so we can kind of get a feel for what we're going to be going up against a lot this season. I'm just going to do a brief overview. So Chicago, they look pretty much the same. They did acquire Peter Inachuk and Keith Acton, it looks like. Also Andrei Tarasenko, so they did actually up their scoring a lot. Mike Gartner too. Interesting. Detroit, they did lose Fedorov, but they do still have a pretty good squad. They picked up Troy Loney. They also picked up Dave Tippett, it looks like. Let's see, Germany's in our division. They picked up Stefan Matteau, it looks like. And I think that's pretty much it. And then they have all AHLers as a 4th line. That's kind of weird. Hopefully we finish ahead of them this season because we didn't last year. And who am I missing? I'm probably missing somebody. The St. Louis Blues, there you go. Shanahan, Janney, and Hull. So they picked up Krejcier and Wolf Dallin, but the rest of the roster looks pretty much the same. Also Brian Noonan. And then we also got Toronto in our division. They picked up Joseph Baranek and Jeff Odgers. Okay. And then the Winnipeg Jets finally. Doesn't look like they did a whole lot. Yeah, they didn't do a whole lot. They picked up Dale Krantz as their best. So Overall wise, hopefully we finish ahead between above Germany and Winnipeg this season, but the other teams, it's going to be very hard to beat them because of how deep they are. So let's get this season started because we've wasted a bit of time with just talking about that sort of stuff. So let's get the preseason done, see how we play during the preseason. Hopefully this year Mike Modano could stay healthy most of the year because he missed like more than half the season, or well, around half the season last year. So we're going to auto-assign those promotional nights just because I don't usually do that. So that's kind of an interesting offer because I wouldn't mind moving Craig Ludwig, but we don't have a depth defenseman if I do that, so I'm not going to take it yet. But if we're out of a playoff spot again, I might trade away some players depending on what you guys think we should do. A lot of teams seem to be interested in Craig Ludwig, which is good because Ludwig has 2 years left still. Like, I mean, he's still a solid depth defenseman, but he's probably going to be retiring within the next few seasons, I think. We're having a really good preseason, though. It seems like we're scoring a lot of goals, and we're allowing not a lot. Especially, well, that loss against Germany is kind of weird, though. So we go 5-1 in the preseason, which is the best in our division. Nice. Let's go up to the first game of the season against the Pittsburgh Penguins. That's going to be a very tough matchup because you got, like, Lemieux, Yager, Francis still playing there. So let's go to the end of the first month. We're going to also take a look after each month, though, to see if there's been any trades or, any trades. Just because I want to be keeping an eye out for any deals that happen around the league because you never know if there's going to be a blockbuster unless there's a pop-up. Because sometimes the pop-up doesn't show the smaller trades. So we're 1-2-1 to start the season. Not really the greatest, but, I mean, I think it's off to a better start than last year. Or maybe not. I don't remember how we started the last season because I know we were doing good with Mike Modano, and then when he went down, we just fell off a cliff pretty much. So 2 seconds for Scott Young at third and a fourth. That's not a bad deal, really. But I don't really want to scratch anybody on our forward core, I don't think. Like, Scott Young used to actually play in Dallas, I believe, in, like, the 2000s. He's not a bad player. Yeah, I don't know why Quebec wants to get rid of him. They must have picked up somebody good. Oh, yeah, probably, actually, they're playing Lafreniere, I would assume. So maybe that's why. Like, Young's got 1 goal this season so far. He's not a bad player. I wouldn't mind doing a trade like that, but at the same time, yeah, I don't really want to necessarily give up 2 seconds at the moment, just because we might not be a team that makes the playoffs. Valerie Kamensky as well. Damn, they want to offload all their older guys. Maybe Quebec is falling off, which is kind of unrealistic because in 1996, obviously, when they changed to Colorado, that's when they won the Stanley Cup. So Ludwig a third and a fifth for a second and a third. No, thank you. Not going to make any trades right now. Not until the trade deadline at the earliest, I think. Unless something comes along that I can't refuse. Last 2 games of the month against Edmonton and Anaheim. We lose against Edmonton somehow, and I don't know. We beat Anaheim, okay. So 5-5-3, it's an okay start to the season. I mean, it's better than how we played the last half of the year. So Neil Broughton's leading a team in points, which is kind of a bad sign when your second line center's outplaying your first line. So I don't know why Mike Modano's not performing as much. Let's take a look actually quickly at the stats. See if Mike Modano actually is. He's got 8 points, but the second line seems to be outplaying the first line, which is really weird. Okay. Let's take a look quickly if there's been any trades in that first month. I don't think there has been, but you never know. I just want to keep tabs on this type of stuff, so then that way I could maybe mention them in a recap video or something near the end of this series. So there has been some signings, a lot of no-name players. Looks like players getting their entry-level deals, so nothing huge, but no trades so far this season. So we'll go another month. We'll probably go to January 1st in this episode because I don't know if we're going to be able to get all the way till like the end of February or whenever the deadline is. So hopefully we can string together some wins and go above 500 because I wouldn't mind making the playoffs this year, but at the same time I wouldn't mind getting a good pick. We don't actually know what the draft class looks like yet because I actually haven't looked yet, so I'll probably show you guys soon or at the end of this episode at the latest. Because if the draft class is really strong, maybe we just want to let this team play out again. And if we miss the playoffs, then maybe we get another good player into the organization. Because technically we have till 1999 till the actual Dallas Stars won the Stanley Cup. So if we don't win before, then that's kind of a bad sign that we're not on the right foot. Then again, the real Dallas Stars made a lot of acquisitions, I think, leading up to 1999. So game against Sweden is a 5-1 win. Okay, yeah, we're still staying around 500, which I'm liking, because if we stay close to 500, then we could kind of choose our fate. So the Edmonton Oilers have fired their head coach, Carl Knighty. Okay. Game against San Jose is a tie. What is these weird-ass deals? Ludwig a third, a fifth, and a sixth for a second and a third. Like, it seems weird to give up, like, 3 picks just to move up a couple rounds. Huh, and Ludwig. I don't know if these offers make much sense, but I guess a lot of teams just want to offload their picks. 2 seconds for Dave Lowry and a third. No, thank you. Dave Lowry's okay, but he's not really a scoring kind of guy. He's more of a physical forward, and I don't really think we need something like that, especially with Shane Sherla, I think, is our depth guy currently at the moment. But I like that we're staying right around 500. Yeah, we're in a playoff spot currently, so hopefully we could just stay healthy all year, and that will maybe help us out. Game against Florida to end the month, and wow, okay, as soon as I say hopefully we could stay healthy, Andy Moog goes down with an injury for 2 weeks with a bruised foot, so we're going to have to rely on Darcy Wakaluk, and we are going to have to call up already Evgeny Nabokov from the minors, so that's kind of interesting. So Nabokov's already going to get time in the NHL, but in real life he didn't play till like 2002, so... But we're going to have to rely on Darcy Wakaluk. I think he should be able to do a decent job because he is listed as a starter. And he actually does have a pretty decent goals against average. So you never know. He could perform pretty decent. And Balkov is going to be the backup for now for only 2 weeks. While in the minors, Bratstrom is going to take over as backup. There you go. So hopefully Nabokov could do pretty solid for us as well if he does get time to play. We're still getting offered Scott Young. Like, I would take these deals, but at the same time, I don't know at this point. So we're 12-9-5 so far this season. That's a good start. Hopefully it continues without Andy Moog. And who was leading us in points? It's someone in point per game. Russ Courtnall, 26 points in 26 games. Liking that. He had like 70 points last year. What was I going to check? Oh yeah, if there was any trades. Because if there's any trades, that would be nice. Something to talk about. No trades so far, and more signings. So Quebec signing like all their what is it, guys they drafted, I think, because all of them are 3-year deals unless they're just all young guys in free agency. That's kind of interesting to see Quebec do something like that. Okay, so let's go another month. There should be some trades starting to happen soon, considering we're getting close to January. I might actually go up till the deadline still in this episode, because I am kind of flying through this season. So Ludwig in a third for a second, a third again, no thank you. New Jersey has Hartford's picks, that's kind of weird. No thank you, don't want to trade him to Sweden. We lose 5-0 to Quebec, and yet Quebec is trying to offload all their good guys. It's weird. And then we lose 6-1 to the Rangers. Not a good way to start December. Ludwig for 2/3. That's a pretty decent deal, but I'm not going to take it just yet. I could take that at the deadline if we're not in a playoff spot. A lot of teams like Ludwig, I guess, because a lot of teams are really weak defensively because they have like AHL defensemen in. Yari Korpisalo in a 4 for a second. That's not a bad offer as well, but Korpisalo, I think he's kind of like a fourth liner because he never actually made the NHL in real life and was never drafted. He was just a guy that was a career-long Finnish player. And Andy Moog is back, so hopefully with Moog back, that gives us a better chance to win games. And we're going to have to send down the Balkov to the minors. Let's actually see if he played. He did, and he was really bad, so that's not good. So hopefully he does better in the minors, or he has been doing better in the minors. We'll send him down again and put him in the lineup, because I don't want to forget about that, because I did make that mistake in last GM mode that we did with Montreal. I sent down a rookie goaltender to the AHL, and then I never played him that season after that. So I want to be sure to put him right back into the lineup, because if I don't, he's not going to grow probably as much. So Bratstrom, we're going to take you out, and the Balkov, you're going to go back into the lineup. There you go. And we are good to go. How is Moog playing? He's actually playing pretty solid. Yeah, he's playing pretty good. But he is getting close to retirement, I think, because he's 35 already. So we got to think about, hopefully if Nabokov comes to the NHL next year, hopefully we could do still pretty good with a weaker backup. Like, I don't know if we want to get rid of Moog and then keep Wakaluk as our starter. Because Wakaluk, I think, is pushing 30 as well. A lot of teams still interested in Craig Ludwig, but we are kind of struggling a lot this month. And Pelle Eklund has been injured till the end of the month. Let's go replace player. Yeah, I don't know why this team's struggling all of a sudden. I know our list is hopeful, but like we were starting the season pretty decent, but now we've like fell apart this month completely. Like we only have like I think 1 win, 2 wins this month. Yeah, 2 wins this month. Like I don't know what the problem is. There's a win over Toronto though. As long as we could stay right around that playoff spot, that'd be nice. Pelle Eklund is back. It's good because I don't like Shane Churla being a second liner. Neil Broughton's also dropping off. I forgot about Neil Broughton. He should be somebody we deal as well. But then again, I like Neil Broughton as a career-long kind of Dallas Stars player. He is also getting up there in age. He's already 36. I'm forgetting about how old some of these guys are. Like McPhee's 35. So that's probably why we're a bad team in a sense, is because we're not really that full of youth. Okay, so 16, 17, 6, and 1 here at January the 1st. Let's take a quick look at those standings. So we are 2 points back of the Winnipeg Jets, who have 4 games in hand. Damn. Okay, so we're kind of in a bad spot right now, but it's not the worst. Let's take a look if there's been any deals, and we're going to probably still go up till the trade deadline, even though this episode's like at 17-ish minutes. There's been no trades so far, and there's been a couple more signings. So yeah, we're going to go right to the trade deadline, I think, or... Wait, where are we? How as far as the trade deadline? Is it near the end of February? We might just go 1 month, more month. Yeah, I think it's near the end of February. Yeah, so we're going to go to February the 1st, and that's where we're going to stop, probably. And then we'll take a look at the trading block and the draft class and all that, so you guys could kind of give me a better decision for if we want to actually make trades or not. So we actually have a trade. So Robert Schwela and 4th and Brandon Manning head to the Anaheim Ducks for 2 seconds. So Brandon Manning's more of an AHL player, but teams have been using him as a depth guy. And Robert Schwela, that's kind of interesting. He's on to his 3rd team, I think, of this franchise mode already. He's more of a top 4 defenseman, kind of, to an extent, like a bona fide top 6, I'd say. He played like his career with like Florida and a bit with Toronto. Ludwig in a 5th for a 3rd and a 4th, no thank you. But yeah, if you guys could think of any trades though when I show you guys the trade and block, that would be appreciated, because sometimes it's hard for me to pick out little deals that we could do. And sometimes I don't actually even have the time to look through for potential trades and whatnot, so. Because at the moment, I don't know if we're going to be a playoff team with the way Winnipeg has so much more games in hand than us. Okay. That's not a bad offer either. Last 3 games before... Actually, last 4 games, because there's one on the last day of this month as well. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be a playoff team again this year. We are struggling. Yeah, we're definitely not going to be a playoff team, I think, because the way we just lose to somebody like Germany is kind of bad, because we shouldn't be able to lose to a team like that. I'm just going to reject all these deals for now. Valery Kamensky has been traded with a 3rd to Washington for 2 seconds, so Quebec seems to be loading up on those picks. And last game of the month against the Mighty Ducks. Let's see how this one goes. No, I don't need Danton Cole. And we lose there as well. So 18, 24, 7, and 1. Not a really good record at all. And I think that's probably one of the worst in the West, right? Yeah, we're the 2nd worst team in our division. And we are the 4th worst team in the Western Conference. Huh. Yeah, we need to think about making some trades to probably for a rebuild, like trading away older guys, I would assume. So let's take a quick look at our player stats just so you guys can get a feel for who's not producing. And then we will take a look at the trading block around the league and the draft class. So Medano is definitely untouchable still. Neil Broughton, somebody I wouldn't mind moving away to an extent because he's already 36. And he could probably fetch us like a first round pick and maybe even more than that. Evason, somebody that could be dealt away maybe. Brent Gilchrist is okay for now. Same with Stapleton. Left wing wise, Dave Gagne is okay for now, I think. Mike McPhee, somebody I could deal definitely. Pele Eklund as well. Klatt's probably not worthy to be dealt. Russ Courtnall maybe could be dealt, but I don't think so. Mike Craig, no. Paul Broughton, yes, I'd say. And Shane Shirley, yes, for sure. Defensively, Paul Cavallini probably could get dealt. Zarley Zalapski, I want to keep around. Matt Tkachuk, I want to keep around. Darian Hatcher, I want to keep around, but he's not very good plus-minus wise. Grant Ledyard's definitely somebody we can move because of his age. And Smolik, I wouldn't mind keeping. As for goalie-wise, Andy Moog, maybe we trade him away and then find a new backup and let Wakalek play the rest of the year. I don't know. Because this team seems to be struggling for just because of the age, I think, of this group. Okay, so that's the player stats. Let's take a look quickly at the draft class, and then we'll take a look at the trading block so you guys can get a feel for if we want to tank the rest of the season or if we want to, I don't know, make a run for the playoffs. I don't think it's possible. Okay, so it does not look like the deepest draft class, but there is this Hans Helmer guy who could be franchised potentially. I have no idea. Trevor Wong's a real player. Cole Sillinger's a real player, so we know those guys. Tommy Vallon, I don't know if this guy's real. There's also 2 other Finns that are elite potentials, so that's pretty nice. Carson Lambos, we know all about him from our Montreal series. Yeah, there's some decent players available, but I don't know how good a lot of them are still at this stage. There's a Kipper. Oh yeah, that's right. I made some players for this draft. I forgot about that. There's a lot of goalies available for this draft as well if for some reason we want another goalie. So you got Mika Kiprusoff, we got Jean-Sebastien Giguère, Martin Biron, who's actually listed as a scout recommendation, Brent Johnson, Vesa Toskala, and Chris Mason. So, I mean, there's a lot of goalie options if we want even more goalies in the system, but I don't think we need to. It's just going to be interesting to see where those guys go. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the trading block, see if there's anything that we could trade for. But you guys do know now who we could potentially deal. A lot of those older guys I wouldn't mind moving out if we are going the rebuilding route. But is there any good young guys on the block? Probably not. Most of these guys are probably like 28 and older. There's a low top 9, 18 years old, but probably won't make it, my guess. Garth Butcher. Yannick Valenti doesn't have much potential, unfortunately. Pearson, 26 years old. He's still a solid 4th liner, not bad. But we would probably trade for picks if we are going to make trades for anything. But please let me know any suggestions down below because sometimes, like I said, I don't have the time to actually look for trades. And then I don't want to end up just not making any trades and letting these guys walk pretty much. Yeah, a lot of older veterans for sure on the block. Not a whole lot of decent young guys. Like, it seems like Quebec's offloading everything they have, pretty much. Which is kind of unrealistic. Anything else that's interesting here? Dave Taylor, very old. Darren Pupa, Pat Jablonski. Yeah, there isn't a whole lot of interesting things on the block, but we could probably trade away a lot of those older guys for picks. Like, let's just quickly go to the trade finder. Even though I don't think we're going to get any offers, but I just want to see what we could get for somebody, say, like a Neil Broughton type of character. I don't know if anybody's interested in Neil Broughton or not. So let's just see if there's any trade offers. So say we could get like a medium top 6 prospect. We could get some seconds. So yeah, we could probably get something decent from a lot of these teams around the league. So let me know all your thoughts down below, guys, and that will be very helpful just because like I need to have some suggestions at least for trades. You can even just send me any information for trades on Twitter instead of you don't want to comment down below. So let me know what you guys think, and I will see you guys on Friday with a new episode.